Hey everyone, this podcast is coming to you from the Psychic Dolphin Garage. You can support this show and our larger efforts to build a leftist community through podcasting and other projects over at patreon.com/Psychic Dolphin Garage. That's patreon.com/PSYCHICDOLPHIN Garage, which is spelled how it sounds.
We bring you back for another evening of Turner Communist Movies, where we talk about this one actress that died 75 years ago and what a great influence she was on the films of today.
I was thinking kind of too, it's more like just they take classic movies, but they have those annoying little like blurbs pop up, where it's like, hey, this is an example of fucking, capturing a surplus value by the capitalist class away from the workers.
I'm just picturing Turner Classic Movies, but instead it's some person, clearly a leftist, wearing the beret, so that way then we know exactly what tone we're setting here.
Obviously,
and it's just like reviewing the hardest of hardcore pornography, set just a little too low on the sound settings.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yes. And as we all know, Mila Davis was one of the first women to actually perform this double penetration scene. Definitely a pioneer when it comes to this level of filmmaking. Some say Skeevy Dave was the Stanley Kubrick of his generation.
Shit, why isn't Skeevy Dave getting a fucking Oscar?
He's actually boycotting the Academy. He says the levels of toxic masculinity and predatory culture.
I was gonna say, yeah, a dude named Skeevy Dave who probably, pays everyone he works with in cash is probably less of a creep and a scumbag than 90% of the people at the fucking Oscars tonight. He's got, one of those, ratty, balding ponytail combos and always wears red sunglasses. But it's other than him, needing maybe, several showers every day for the rest of his life to just catch up.
In that line of work, you definitely do need several showers every day.
You get them.
Of all different varieties.
I don't know what kind of fucking thing you're filming specifically. You could get plenty of showers.
There is the Davy Awards, which literally honors the achievements of the great Davids, where strength comes from ideas, intelligence, and out-of-the-box thinking, not a giant bankroll.
Wait, are you fucking... Is the Davies a thing?
The Davy Awards is a...
All right, we are submitting Skeevy Dave to the Davy Awards.
Skeevy Dave 2020, you got this, Dave.
Psychic Dolphin Garage.
Hey everyone, I'm Kelton.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Bo. And Zach, I know I said to you at some point earlier this week, I was going to do a bit with this intro. I forgot the funny name I was going to come up with, though, so this is just a regular boring intro now.
I can't always get what I want. In fact, I never get what I want with these intros, so...
Welcome to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage.
There we go. That's right. Seize control of the reins there.
Yeah.
Let that awkward moment wash over you like Skeevy Dave's golden shower.
Come on, Bo. Keep going. Keep going, Bo. This is your intro now. You gotta finish it.
Oh, okay. So I've got to fucking... I've got to carry this turd across the finish line? That is a...
Yeah.
What is that metaphor? This week we got a whole bunch of bullshit lined up. Listener questions later in the episode. The good kind of bullshit like you
time.
like.
It is
no
bullshit
guess.
Still, though.
It's three lonely boys.
Three lone wolf packs.
Exactly,
doing
yeah.
a podcast together.
Three men who will at some point in the future be described by the media as lone wolves. I hope you guys have your three first name aliases ready to roll. I think I'm going for Jack David Johnman or something like that. So
see right there, famous David Award winner, Jack David
yeah, for
Johnman.
shooting. Just fucking anyway. Thank you to everyone, speaking of listeners who subbed to our YouTube and helped us get over that 100 sub line. Kelton tells me that's a very important number because it's got 3 digits in it instead of the 2.
If you're listening to this episode right now, there actually is. We have an announcement video premiering on our YouTube today. We have been I've been talking about it, at least. We're going to be adding some more content for y'all to put on in the background and then leave and then come back, and it's actually Linus Tech Tips. But we will be having lots of content on our YouTube, coming to our YouTube in the near future, and we hope that you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, we're really growing it out. It is pretty cool to help celebrate the fact that we crossed 100 subs. Though we're actually going to be doing a Super Tuesday live stream starting around the time that we all get off work and are properly inebriated as we let the results wash over us. So it'll either be happy drinking or sad drinking. And I think that we should plan on just splitting the difference, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really, is there a difference? In this late capitalism, is there a difference between happy drinking and sad drinking?
Me breaking out the cheap tequila that I drink is going to happen regardless of whether it's sad or happy.
There you go. That's the fucking spirit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hard part is not finding what to drink. It is trying to convince myself that it is not a chemical dependency that I'm forming, and this is the only outlet
These
to
are
which
these are
I
the
have to
political
express my
realities
emotions.
that excuse. You know, there you go. Fucking boom. You got a book written.
The only person asking about my relationship with alcohol these days is the insurance company that I'm signing up with. As they try to, they do their like questionnaire bullshit to give you, initial coverage. So
Yeah, we got to make sure that you are the exact right kind of liability to where we get an exact fucking ridiculous premium to charge you. Yeah.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to Ernest Hemingway, how much of a liability are you to yourself or others?
like they say in the military, these the acronym that they use for these questionnaires is NO, and it stands for numerous opportunities.
Ah, that's some very it's inspirational. I love it. Great.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I inspired you all enough to go donate another $10 Bernie Sanders before he has to keep campaigning because he needs the money. So fucking
if I hear the word insurance even just one fucking time, like by the point where I'm like over 30, I'm just gonna. I mean, that's fucking 3 first names time, y'all. I'm telling you. Don't want to fucking think about it. Don't want to have to fucking consider it. Like
rare 2-time winner of famous Davy Award, David Goldman.
Normally they get you with the first one, or they corner you and it's pop. But nah, some Daves strike twice. Put that on a t-shirt. Anyway, yeah. So what's in the news, boys?
Everything is kind of in the news right now. By the time this comes out, the New Hampshire primary is going to be happening, and so
we won't have results from that. All right, we said we were going to have results from.
Yeah, that was some fucking bullshit. The naive fucks that we were.
We're gonna hedge our bets this time. Like, yeah, no, we don't expect those New Hampshire results to come out for at least a week. So
yeah.
You thought we were saying this episode? We meant next episode. That's
Yeah.
what we were talking about.
I emailed the DNC about this, and they just sent me back a GIF of Chuck E. Cheese fucking my mouth. So, I mean, it's really anybody's race.
It actually was, just Mayor Pete. You don't have to say that it was Chuck E. Cheese. It's fine.
Oh, no. Fursuit technology has come so far, you see.
Okay, what if Mayor Pete decides to double down and is like, all right, my fursona is Charles E. Cheese.
He hasn't even singled down. I mean, fucking dude believes in nothing. I guarantee you he's not getting anywhere near a fursuit. He does not have the ideological fucking chutzpah for it. All right? The chutzpah. The moxie.
It's just a bunch of. It's not Pete actually going out there and running, running all the speeches and the rallies. It's actually he has a bunch of Chuck E. Cheese fursuits, like mechanical ones, like Callus from Destiny 2. And
Yeah.
he just rolls
of
them out
course.
of the closet, stretches the Pete suit over them, and then sends them off to do the.
If only there were another recent video game with Chuck E. Cheese animatronics featured in it.
Yeah.
Speaking of big technology, that's the transition there.
Oh, wow.
go.
Bo is actually taking control of this docket. I'm kind of liking
We have a
it,
shitload of questions, and they're very good. And we gotta fucking chunk through the us bullshit to get to the good shit.
Yeah. While we're talking about big tech and Bernie Sanders, it's come out that most of the donations to Bernie Sanders. Well, I'm sorry. Bernie Sanders raises more donations from employees employed in the technology sector than any of the other candidates, even Andrew Yang.
Oh damn!
Believe
The
it or
Reddit
not,
candidate.
the tech bro candidate is not the one leading the tech donation sector because he sucks.
Well, to be fair, though, Andrew Yang is leading in the very coveted entrepreneurs still living at their parents' third home category. Okay, so that's a pivotal market base. That is dozens of people that he has right there in his corner, Zach.
See, the thing is that all this stuff is really cool and good because people can just look online and see things like the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, like releases that all these campaigns and organizations do, where they show exactly where all their money comes from, and they can look at it and it can say, this did not come from a corporate donor, and they go, oh yes, a corporate donor gave that, and then they look at people like Pete, and Pete's like, all of my money is from billionaires, and they're like, he's supported by the people.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it is bizarre, though, because the thing we're referencing is a Vox article. It might be old news at this point, but the way when it came out, it was talking about how, oh, look at all of Bernie Sanders' big tech donations. And to be fair, the article was pretty impartial about it, but people on Twitter have kind of taken up that torch, and they're like, hey, look, Bernie Sanders is getting all of these donations from people who are employed at Amazon. So actually, Bernie Sanders is getting all of this money from Amazon. Isn't that pretty hypocritical then if he's criticizing Amazon? And
You have to tell them where you work at to donate. Like you have to say when you go donate, you have to fill in. You go, oh, I'm going to give $10. Who do you work for? Google.
Skeevy Dave. Skeevy Dave.
Hey,
That's
listen,
the new answer.
Skeevy Dave might not be the most scrupulous employer, but
If there's two things Skeevy Dave believes in, it's the fact that gender is a construct and Medicare for all is a vital necessity in my workplace.
gender as a construct is kind of a reinterpretation of what he said, which is a whole is a whole. But I mean, it's woke in its roundabout way, I guess. I don't know.
I would like to apologize for my old tweets when it came up. I have recently gone on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I was radicalized to become a member of the Sanders Nation.
God bless you, Skeevy Dave. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, no, the Amazon, when they have their weekly safety meetings, they say, hey, and if you don't want to get accidentally dismembered this week, you'll donate to Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, if you don't want the fucking Bezos bot to roll out onto the factory floor and cut your head off with a sword, you better pay the piper.
It's just a level of ignorance to class analysis of, oh, are you saying that the people in charge of the company have a different interest than the people who actually are working on the bottom rungs and are the ones that actually make the company operate? Whoa, that's so crazy. Who could have possibly seen that happening? Anyway, I got this like 10 yards of wool and I don't quite know what to do with it. Could someone help me out here?
Donate it to Bernie, obviously.
The new data shows how the, quote, rank and file at big tech companies are rallying behind some of the candidates who are the least friendly to big tech, end quote. So what they're saying is that the rank and file, the bullshit paper pushers that work there are maybe, not super happy with the thing that their company is doing. And because there's no democratic workplace guarantee when you work in the U.S., they're speaking with their money perhaps. And one might argue that the market has said that Bernie Sanders is the favorite.
Also, it's ridiculous that they would say, oh, yeah, I mean, Bernie Sanders and the rest of the delegates are attacking big tech head on. That's kind of like saying, like, oh, look, Matt Moore and Patrick Mahomes both won a Super Bowl. They both put in equal effort as quarterbacks for the Kansas City Chiefs. And look at that. They both have a Super Bowl ring, so I guess, equally good as players. It's insanity when he is the person going on the front lines, being there at every protest, being the one who's fighting for 15. He's the one going to the shareholders' meetings at Walmart. He's the one actually out there talking directly to the Amazon workers. And everyone else seems to be getting more and more skittish the closer we get towards elections. And
that's how he won Iowa, and that's how he'll win this election, is by going and finding the people who are unengaged because there's nobody that represents them. He's going to go find them. He's going to tell them, show up, vote for me. These are the things I'm going to give you. These are the things I'm going to work on for you. I want you
And
to...
if you don't, my followers will and
Time for some fucking targeted harassment, babes. Let's fucking do it.
All right, yeah, no, the Bernie check is the new Soros check. Soros is
check.
old news.
Yeah, equally anti-Semitic, but I mean, like, kind of more fun because Bernie doesn't look like Palpatine.
The only difference is that everyone wears Joker masks when
absolutely.
you get paid by Bernie.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and working for all these companies that don't represent your interests is something that maybe isn't talked about as much because it doesn't serve the ruling class to let the voters know that these companies don't serve their interests. And when
Hold
we
on,
talk
Zach. Michael Bloomberg has given me like 9 different commercials over the span of 3 minutes talking about how he is the only person who can defeat Trump. If you don't believe him, just check out this vague source Google News on Yahoo ad that says that Trump is scared of Michael Bloomberg because he called Michael Bloomberg so small he will need a stepping stool.
I just had the most fucked realization. Like Michael Bloomberg and like the such and such candidate can beat Trump, and that's where the argument ends. Idea and argument for a candidate is so fucking rooted in the whole like Hunger Games, Harry Potter, etc., young adult novels that, fucking 30-year-olds read, kind of mindset, It's like, oh yeah, this is the chosen one. What after he kills Voldemort? I don't know, but he'll kill Voldemort.
It's so
totally
stupid too. Like Democrats always say we have to run to the middle. We have to, be as moderate as possible. And who actually inspired moderates, non-voters, and self-proclaimed centrists to vote for their campaign? Bernie fucking Sanders. So shut the fuck up about who's going to win the fucking election and beat Trump. Like, if you want blue no matter who, go Bernie. If you're not going to go Bernie, then fuck you. We're not going to vote for you. You get Trump again.
Yeah,
People in America are going to suffer. But honestly, people would have suffered under Hillary. People will suffer under Pete Buttigieg. There's no fucking difference. We're fucking positists now. Just let the whole fucking world burn.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, we're dolphin
a
pilled,
month
baby.
ago, everyone was making fun of me for being a Maoist positist, but now,
honestly,
it's
too
so
little,
crazy.
too late. I'm gonna kill my landlord with a ray gun. That's just how it goes.
It's always been our position that that nothing is going to change as long as the incumbent regime is not moved out of office. And that's why, like, as far as electoralism goes, we support people like the Rose Caucus, like Joshua for Congress, real human beings that are actually running for office, like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is the only human being that's getting up there and running, and that's why people want to vote for him. You know why? Because they work for stupid companies like Google, Facebook.
Run by the worst
Sony.
kind of fucking insects that are just like, just absolutely unrelatable non-people,
Yeah.
It's
They
it's
work
so
for
fucking
companies
weird.
like Sony, where they go to work and they take the PS4 logo and they Photoshop the 4 out of the logo and they put a 5 in it and they say, look at our new product that's going to make us $1 billion this year. That's what we have to look forward to.
Well, I mean, like, to be fair, though, like, Sony, that was one guy's, like, cocaine-fueled decision to make it all just look like piss. Sony, it contains multitudes within it. Sometimes it can also be a toaster that will explode on you. Or perhaps, just maybe, a film studio that will be like, hey, look, we'll get all these woke points by pushing Little Women as an Oscar movie. Yeah, also, we have Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood nominated for Best Picture.
I would
Can't
love,
lose if we're playing
absolutely
both sides,
love
baby.
Quentin Tarantino's Little Women.
Oh my God, yeah.
There's not a single shot above the ankle, let me tell you.
Jesus Christ. Not only do people have to work for these companies and do miserable things like refresh the same thing over and over and market it as like a new thing, but then they also have to sit through the spectacle of them giving themselves awards. And what I'm saying is that the Oscars would not exist under Bernie Sanders.
Now, hold on. Let's not get too carried away, because at this point, people will already know who won the Oscar, okay? So we have to
the single Oscar?
Throw people there's only one Oscar award, right? It's a person named Oscar that's made into a blood sacrifice, and then they give a little tiny piece of his bone, dip it in gold, and hand it to all of the rich Hollywood elites.
Not after someone gets to suck the adrenochrome out of his bone marrow, but yeah, I mean, you
course.
basically got it
sorry.
down.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, I keep on forgetting about that step. Again, it just.
I mean, what do you
every
think
time.
they're keeping Weinstein around for? Like, they could just fucking, knock that walker out from under him at any point, but someone's got to suck the marrow. It's not the perfect system.
It gets the hose.
It's not a perfect system, and he's a bad dude. But I mean, you just got to suck the marrow. Like
We just have to respect the institution of it. All right,
Mhm,
we can't
yeah.
go throwing out everything. If we start saying that we're going to get rid of all of the marrow and adrenochrome harvesting, are we also going to get rid of giving awards for best score? Like, at what point is it going to actually matter?
And they're basically the same thing. So
Well, and
Yeah,
it's
so
also
for people who don't quite know,
what the fuck we're talking about?
I mean, everything has been buzzing about the Oscars and has been buzzing about Bernie Sanders. So those are the two big stories that have kind of dominated our feeds. And as much as we would like to view ourselves as being cinema buffs and kino stands, we aren't really. I mean. I'm on like a tape delay, culturally speaking, of where if something doesn't become available for streaming or download, there's not really an opportunity for me to go see it. Bo, what was the last movie you saw in theaters?
In theaters, I think it was the Tim Heidecker running for office one.
Hell yeah.
That I don't remember the
Okay.
title of. It was pretty good. And, a good indictment of our current political something or other, if I'm trying to sound like a movie review.
That's right. There we go.
But yeah, it was Tim
And,
Heidecker being funny. That's why I like the movie.
And Zach, what about you? What was the last film you went to go see in theaters?
Endgame.
All right. So,
Fuck you.
We are coming at you from the hottest takes of the summer of 2019. So we aren't the people necessarily to talk about what the content of the movies are, as much as we can talk to you about the studios behind those movies. And we've already talked about how Sony's playing both sides. But guess what? There are several other films with other associated problems with scandals and storylines that we may have missed. So let's take a great look back and think about the time that was.
Don't-
You can do the post effect for
Yeah,
that,
no,
right,
I'm
Bo?
not gonna, but yeah.
All right, but you could if you wanted to. That's the important
yeah,
thing.
Good
It
if
could
I
sound
gave a
really
shit.
cool, and then they would start playing like the piano music, where it's like looking back at the life of dead comedian.
An
Tom
all
Hanks.
acapella except for piano version of Toy Soldier as the song starts to come on.
I don't know why, but for some reason, Zach, when you said dead comedian, I was like, wait, is that his name? Like, oh yeah, Mr. Dead Comedian. We all know him.
Dave
Great
comedian.
Great dude.
Again, this sweet man. All he wants to do is make a safer working environment. But the other films that should be worthy of discussion would be Parasite from the CJ Group over in South Korea, 1917 from Universal, The Irishman and Marriage Story coming from Netflix, and Disney/Fox with Jojo Rabbit and Ford versus Ferrari, and of course the movie that I think we as a podcast all believe definitely deserves all of the adulation and praise and isn't just some weird, overblown, bloated cultural phenomenon. Joker, coming from Warner Media.
Avatar
and
2.
I just
You
came.
said it.
I came so hard. I've been pent up waiting to once again talk about this movie that somehow spawned Revolution. There was nothing else that inspired Revolution. It was just everyone went out and saw that movie, and then immediately they're like, fuck, we live in a fucking society.
It's like all my goddamn white male rage finally has an avenue for me to express it. That's the thing. I've never seen white male rage expressed anywhere or in any way previous to the Joker coming out,
It used to be drywall, but then I saw his face.
Okay, well, see, that actually might be a common theme that we have, because Marriage Story had the actual punching the drywall scene. So, imagine how many people were like, I relate to this.
Yeah.
That makes that
Man,
character
Kylo Ren
so
is really
relatable.
good in this, huh?
God, Parasite was really good, and it popped off. But the studio that produced it also not a great studio. Like it's the thing where like capitalism gives us really cool things, but maybe the artists that are behind it had a cool message, but it's also kind of lost in the fact that what's this one here? This is South Korea, and their economy is basically based on their K-pop idols.
They are,
country,
and there was this massive vote
Country runs
rigging
on K-pop.
scandal involving some bands called X1. See, this is where we need Rob to just randomly pop in and explain why this is actually something we should care about. And this was the true death knell of democracy if we were all actually paying attention. But at least as far as I can tell, they basically were like, this group has the most overall marketability, but they aren't going to win the popular vote. So electoral college style, let's do this shit.
Yeah.
And so the group then disbanded because they're like, it's built on lies. But apparently, I think they're going to get paid a shitload to come back together under a different name. So that's interesting, I guess.
It's like a corporation. I mean, you have the same 20 assholes running everything, and you just fire everybody and then pick out a new logo. There you fucking go. Yeah.
I know with Universal in 1917, they had a movie that was going to debut called The Hunt. That was about a group of rich liberals hunting these poor downtrodden conservatives like animals. And there was a lot of outrage expressed about that. And so they're like, I guess we're not going to go ahead and release it, but maybe later. And it still hasn't come out. So
it's never going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, movie studios make no sense to me in the sense of they're the only industry where you can cost someone $90 million and the studio will be like, we'll give you another shot. Everyone gets a mulligan.
Yeah, I mean, like that's kind of the thing is anyone who might ever think that, the free market is a really, rational, reasonable fucking way to decide things. Dipshits got mad on Twitter, so that's, a $90 million loss. Like, yeah, totally. And I mean, like, yeah, it might have even fucking, tanked in the box office itself. Who knows? But I mean, at least you'd make some of it back. At least from like rage
and by
watches.
not releasing it, that voids a ton of actor contracts that
Oh,
they have
absolutely,
stuff built
yeah.
in. And so then that makes it just be through the roof more expensive than even the production budget. But it's okay because at least it's not like fucking Netflix about how the weird Goop show is just telling people to do magic mushrooms and think about how beautiful their vagina is.
That actually, okay, I'm sure it actually sucks, but the way you described it right there, that sounds amazing.
Well, I mean, that was like my go-to move in college. Yeah, but like outside of that, it's just weird to think that Gwyneth Paltrow has the same game level that I do. Except it'd be like,
smoking weed and looking at your hands, bespoke, doing mushrooms and squatting over a mirror.
Jesus Christ. There is no clear indication that liberals are not in charge of the media. Than The Hunt being a movie about the liberals being the bad guys. Like MAGA types are literally so not oppressed that they're the hunted people in this film. Like, it's just totally cool for them to be like, hunted down by liberals. Like, they're so unoppressed, but they believe themselves to be so oppressed. It's like, I resonate with that. But that
is exactly what happened to me.
It's being released by Universal. And then you go and you look at Netflix, and Netflix has been removing, it does remove movie titles from catalogs based on what the different countries ask.
Yeah, like if Brazil is like, we don't want a gay Jesus comedy, Netflix would be like, and it never existed. No one can find it in Brazil.
Yep.
Insane to me.
I mean, this is a whole other fucking conversation to go in on, but like, just speaks to the value of just pirate shit. Just have your own fucking terabyte-sized, solid state to sit in your fucking media center, and boom, there's every favorite movie you'll ever have.
But how can I download all of these pirated movies, Bo? I have 9,000 Quake maps already on my terabyte.
Listen, that is a different conversation as well. So.
Are you saying it's too many Quake maps for one person, though?
I'm saying I need to buy another fucking solid-state drive is what I'm saying.
Do you guys want to know what the actual quote is that Netflix had
Let's hear
about
it.
their episode removal? They said, this is their CEO, Reed Hastings. He says, "We're not in the truth to power business. We're in the entertainment business."
Hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
Pete 2020. Let's do this shit.
Hell yes. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, is, like, cold and calculated, sure, but, like, I mean, props for being honest, I guess? I don't know.
No, okay, let's.
No, I
let's
don't
be-
think that's honest as much as just going mask off because you know it's not going to hurt
Well, I mean,
anything.
yeah,
your
that's kind of
bottom
the
line.
thing. It's naked callousness. It's like we know you fucking idiots aren't gonna care if we remove the one episode on Saudi Arabia of fucking the Hassan Minaj show, Patriot Act. Is that
Yeah.
what it's called? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Fucking that doesn't matter to you people. What you want is more fucking. I've been watching the shit out of Zumbo's baking challenge. You guys seen that?
No.
It's an Australian baking show. Fucking wonderful. I cannot recommend it enough. It's a very stupid show, and I love it.
And that's the point. They'll keep on saying bullshit like that until we start making them pay taxes. Like that's really what it all boils down to.
They're also gonna, that also means that they're removing people's right to information, which is what the internet was designed for, which is what companies do not want. Companies want you to pay for access to information. That's why you see in the U.S. why all the legislation failed to protect our internet rights, because companies didn't want us to have internet rights. They want to monetize it the same way they want to monetize water.
Yeah.
But nothing bad can come about from a company having an overall monopoly on entertainment and content, right? I mean, like everything always works out so well with that sort of horizontal
right.
integration.
Into the next example.
Your right to access information on the internet is more important than your right to freedom of speech, almost, because even if you don't have the right to say something in a public place, you should have the right to find the information that shows that what other people are saying is wrong.
That's the updated version of like, I may not agree with the furry porn that you look up, sir, but by God, will I defend your right to look that shit
Yeah.
up.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing about the internet is, fucking spend 5 minutes scrolling through Twitter and you can tell that there are plenty of people who exercise their right to freedom of speech, not as many people who exercise their right to freedom of information. And, that's very intentional
Ba-bum
because
shot.
Okay, all right.
quote unquote
Okay,
freedom of
Bill
information
Maher.
is fucking, it's limited by capital in a multitude of ways.
Yeah, and like libertarians have based a lot of their policy positions on that, which is, good and bad, mostly bad because they're also racist somehow, even though they have access to a lot of information, so I can't fix that. But people have been fighting against your internet access being undemocratized, taken away from you, put behind paywalls for a long time, and there's now a new test case that is coming out from Disney who are fining the Parent Teacher Association at Emerson Elementary School in Berkeley, California, because they showed a remake of The Lion King during a Parents' Night Out event last year.
Well, I mean, so this is another thing
There's
is
There's
they
a copyright claim for screening the film without a proper license.
yeah, which again has been a thing too. Like we can't understate that enough. Like fucking technically watching a movie with too many people that you're not blood related to in a room can be like legislated against, which is just fucking just pants on head.
Imagine going
ridiculous.
to like your grandpa's funeral, right? And then like the in memoriam comes on, and then you get hit with a cease and desist because the song is copywritten.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like,
I mean, that's kind of what it
God.
is. Like,
Copyright laws don't protect anyone but the studios that push content out and generate money from it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't even
yeah.
they don't protect the artist in the least. They would rather sell the artist completely down the river if it meant that they could make just an extra 3% on overall market share.
yeah,
Like,
because so y'all know the fucking like pre VHS like message that would pop up like this is a message from the FBI saying any unlicensed
Oh
screenings.
yeah,
That's
no,
what this
I
is.
didn't actually
That's
read
what
that.
this fucking well nobody actually read it, but like that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's just as ridiculous here, probably off of fucking Blu-ray at a school PTA. It's Lion King. It's for kids.
Imagine some kid in like the 1990s. They have the original animated Lion King. They put it on. They see the FBI warning. So many kids are ignoring it, but one kid focuses on it, looks at it, and is like, this is who I want to be. That's the Pete Buttigieg origin story right there.
Oh
Just
my
like,
God.
whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you could do this. This is so cool.
Yeah, Pete Buttigieg made it 10 minutes into the movie until he identified with the character, and it's that scene where Scar is toying with a tiny little rat, and he was like, yeah, that's who I'm into, fuck, yeah. That's my guy.
The rat, not Scar.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, because Scar showed up previously.
Okay.
I'm saying, yeah, the rat is...
Scar also raised some
wheelhouse.
very valid concerns. Not saying that his methods were just by any means, but,
Yikes.
you know,
Yikes.
like...
all right.
If the
anyway.
entire
no,
Pride
no.
Lands are actually starving,
Kelton, I'm not into the black fur, the brown fur, red fur alliance you're fucking proposing here, alright?
all I'm saying is hyenas are animals too, okay? We need to make sure that there is an open space available for them to come onto Pride Rock in the marketplace of ideas. All right, guys?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a Lion King is a fucking mess of a movie. It's like, oh yeah, we gotta, protect the rights of our proud, austere,
Furry
noble, furry first family, so to speak. God. Meanwhile, if you happen to be the wrong species, you can go screw.
This was also played at California schools where they were trying to do a fundraiser. They raised $800 at the California schools. I'm assuming this is to pay for books and other school supplies, and they now have to return a third of that money because they put on a movie for the kids to watch.
Fucking Disney. Like as if Disney's not printing fucking money right now off of Disney Plus. God damn it.
I wonder
ridiculous.
if they ask like the Marvel actors to go in and act like enforcers. They're just
fucking Chris Hemsworth comes in and hands you a fucking cease and desist. Like, God,
I'm going to need the $200.
Well, yeah, and this is also like testing to crack down on people watching things that they want to watch in their own time, in their own homes, having downloaded movies online, which is been enforced more and less in the past, but it doesn't. It's like a patent. It's like you don't have a patent that protects you from your rights being taken away from you because you don't have a lawyer that you can pay to go out and enforce your patent.
Yeah.
Big companies worth billions of dollars have patents, and they have entire departments dedicated to searching for people that are breaking their patents and then suing the ever-living fuck out of them, because making money is not about actually having a good idea and then making your good idea do something better for the world and sharing things with other people. Making money is stealing from other people,
power and
then,
leveraging it to exactly.
Yeah, and continuing to steal from them until you have so much money you don't know how to fucking spend it, and you spend it doing stupid shit like AT&T is doing to lead us into the next story.
Making Avatar 2.
Which is spending $1.2 billion in Q4 of 2019 to prevent Time Warner shows from airing on Netflix.
Yeah, they are actively choosing. Well, we don't even. It goes beyond the idea of profits over people. They are not just being like, we won't even make any money. All right, fine, because we're going to take what's ours and we're going to hoard it, so that way then we can enforce a scarcity concept and make it go across the board and make people sign up for our show that will then help our ratings go up. Because my God, who the fuck doesn't just get excited about getting to rewatch Friends on HBO?
Oh, I'm so horny for it.
Remember that AT&T told Congress that it would not restrict distribution of Time Warner content, claiming that would be, quote, irrational business behavior, unquote.
Yeah, like there's such a thing as
crazy.
irrational business behavior.
But it
shit.
It passed up revenue, which is in the tens of billions of dollars.
You know who doesn't censor all of his content and in fact wants it to be as widely distributed as possible?
I think I know.
Skeevy Dave.
The one and
That's
only.
right.
God bless.
Yeah.
True working class icon.
AT&T revenued $46.8 billion. Skeevy Dave doesn't revenue that much because he's not Skeevy, even though his name may imply
we don't actually
such
know
practices.
how much he makes, because again, it's a lot of under the table
A lot of cash, a lot of like currency he made up and printed himself and trades people with, which like, I mean, fuck, respect the grift, I guess. Like, good on you, Dave, with your Dave fucking dollars.
That is a ridiculous amount. Regardless of how much Skeevy Dave makes, this $46.8 billion is the fourth quarter revenue. AT&T revenues
For a quarter!
revenues they're like edging up to $1 trillion. That's okay. That's 1 point.
Listen here, I may not know much about economics, but making $1 billion out of a quarter, you might be a redneck. I don't fucking.
That's $200 billion almost that they make every year. They passed up $1.2 billion,
Yeah.
which is a ludicrous amount of money. They passed that up by trying to start their HBO Max service, which is going to debut in May.
Yeah,
Because
half of a percent, in other words,
Yeah.
of their annual revenue.
And that's and yet their movie Joker is like the face of the revolution. Haha face, haha Joker. Like it's so ridiculous that these companies, like, capital is built on ever increasing on exponentially and infinitely increasing income, and like it works in the minds of people whose brains have rotted and turned into ranch dressing.
Yep.
And
Well, I mean, it happens, I guess you could say, because we live in a society.
Dun dun dun. Goddamn, I thought we were gonna be done with this shit in like September. Ugh.
Yeah, let everyone go back to when both thought the Joker would only be relevant for 2 weeks. It was my Iowa caucus prediction of, oh my god, that's far off.
There's somebody that's fucking going through this, weekly like news oriented show, listening to it from the beginning because some people just do podcasts like that, I guess. And like they're like, oh, listen to this asshole talking about Joker. Okay, fucking 20 episodes later, here is your comeuppance. Enjoy it, alright? Anyway.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of our devoted fans.
It's so important that we, like, highlight this in big yellow and orange highlighter for idiots that can't comprehend the idea that the people that work for a company don't always speak for the company, and the fact that real people, real humans, are donating their hard-earned money to a campaign that is talking about them, talking about the things that are affecting them, talking about the issues that they're experiencing in their daily lives, and saying that we need to do better and we will do better. It's amazing that these people are taking from their meager, like, even if you're making $100,000, even if you're making $200,000 a year,
meager as hell.
It is nowhere near what $1 billion is.
Yeah.
I mean,
you will never hold $1 billion. You'll never be able to comprehend in your mind what $1 billion looks like, or how it would feel to have $1 billion just at your beck and call.
It's a fantastic feeling, but
having $1 billion, Kelton, what?
Yeah, having $1 billion would be a fantastic feeling.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
a fantastic
but see,
feeling.
I'm
Sorry.
spelling billion with a Y because we're talking about Skeevy Dave currency. Okay,
Yeah, the Dave dollars they use an entirely different alphabet. It's
it is a small but very legally different definition for currency purposes.
Yeah,
okay?
technically they reference a law from the 1760s. They're not dollars, but promissory notes. Which means he can print them. He can actually exchange them for U.S. dollars. So, I mean, really, Dave's doing it for the art, I think, at the end of the day.
It's like that classic book, How to Trade a Paperclip for a Car.
So, the fucking capitalist version of how to trade a paperclip for a car is, alright, 300 years ago, have somebody murder somebody who owns a car, and then, you fucking just put the paperclip in your car that you have, and I'm not gonna think about the historical basis for that, and then you fucking drive away. There you fucking go. Anyway, then should we get to listener questions?
Yeah,
Since we got a mountain of them. Thank you, folks.
Bo is just experiencing anxiety attacks over the amount of questions
I'm
that you
always
have
experiencing
showered us
anxiety
with.
attacks.
So it's at this point, though, before we dive into the questions, I just want to express my gratitude to everyone who did ask all of these, because this is going to be an affront against God, nature, and everything else. But if you've made it this far, you are definitely going to be an elite member of our fan base. Okay, so come with me now as we dive and stare into the gaping maw that is our listenership, and let's hit things up. How about we just do things? We each read one question at a time, and then we answer. Let's start off with Twitter. Bo, take it away.
All right, first things first. @ThatBoulder asks, so a scientist invents a sentient robot. All right. The government gives him a $30,000 grant to continue studying it. He gives the money to the robot to put in the robot's bank account for safekeeping. At one point, the scientist wants the money back. He knows the robot can overpower him, so he decides to take the aggressor. He walks in and puts a gun to the robot's head and tells him to give them the money. The robot refuses. The scientist shoots the vacuum, the robot's close friend. The robot promptly hands over the money. Now, did the scientist steal the government's money, the robot's money, or just take back his own money? Well, I mean, other than Dave Dollars, which we've already established as the premier cryptocurrency of 2020, I mean, it's all the government's money at the end of the day. Like,
well, also money isn't real, so
also money's not real. Yeah. My non-flippant take, I guess, would be that it's the government's money. As far as like non-weird gotcha language that I'm speaking in right now goes, I mean, like, he gave it to the robot, so it's the robot's money? I don't fucking know. Like,
he gave it to the robot to put in the robot's bank account for safekeeping. The agreement was that the robot would give it back to him at some point. It's not explicitly stated, but it's implied.
Robots are not held to the same morality standards as human beings. That is just simply imposing our weird binary constructs.
The robot was given a command to safekeep the money in his bank.
Oh, a command, was he?
Yes.
So I guess that's what robots are good for, huh?
He stole back his own money from the robot.
What if it was the vacuum's money? We never think about this. That maybe the vacuum is like,
goddamn.
someday I'm
This
finally
feels like
going to
it
get out
deserves
of
its
here.
own
I'm going to
full
make
fucking
something
episode.
of myself.
Like, this is the kind of thing where we all get together, we have a bottle of Everclear per person, and we just film until people stop moving around and yelling. Like,
I guess it is time that we move on to a less touchy subject matter.
it's a good question for a clusterfuck. I love it. Like,
yeah, it's
all
great.
right.
So at Holly Malra asks, how do you guys identify ideologically? Demsoc, anarchist, Marxist? I
mean, I don't really, I guess. I mean, like, you know, there's a lot of ideas from a lot of different schools of thought that I like. I feel like me personally, somebody who does very little tangibly, I guess, in terms of advancing leftism. I mean, like, I have like a fucking show that I talk on. Yeah, right. No, I mean, like, you know, like I don't feel like I'm qualified to say any of that particularly. So I don't. You know, I just say, like, hey, I believe in X, Y, and Z. I know that kind of sounds like a fucking cop-out. I know it does. I mean,
well, I think
anti-capitalist
that
more broadly,
has,
you know?
Exactly. I think that would probably be as good a way to define it as possible.
Yeah.
You know, if Marxists are like the Catholic Church and anarchists are like Lutherans, or whatever the parallel you might want to make, just in terms of a structural identity, we would fall under the bullshit non-denominational type guys.
Yeah, we're like
we all just want to have a
Unitarians,
good time. Yeah, like we're anti-capitalist, we're anti-racist, and we believe that the system is fucked up.
Anti-imperialists,
but-
you know, I mean, anti all the bad stuff. Again, not to sound like I'm being flippant or like, you know,
Women.
I mean, like, yeah, Jesus. Yeah, we're anti-homophobic, just because we just, we're not even particularly gay. We just hate women a lot. If there's one thing you can take away from this entire podcast, all fucking whatever many episodes, we just hate women totally. But no, like, yeah, I don't know. How about you, Zach?
I identify as crypto-anarchist, but I have very Marxist
slaps.
ideology. I identify as crypto-anarchist because that's the coolest one.
That sounds really cool. Yeah.
It's basically pursuing the replacement of social functions as much as possible, automating it behind open source systems that we can say do this thing, and then they do the thing. They don't take a bunch of Raytheon money and then not do the thing, even though they say that they're doing the thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big picture ideal, and it's accomplished through Marxist thought. I have really yet to find much that I disagree with about Marx, and you know, maybe I just don't understand it, which is a lot of the time when I read his stuff, because I get burnt out trying to read. You know, I get like 3 words in, and it's like, oh, my eyes, I can't do it. But that's my answer, And the answer to what is it you actually believe is I'm Marxist, because there's no better answer than that. Like just read Marx. That's all you have to do, and then you understand how we establish the state that we want to. How we begin to establish a better state, because we don't know what the next stage is. We don't know what it'll be. We can't know what it'll be until we get there.
Oh, that's very sweet. Yeah. Very sincere answer, fuckface. Now read the next goddamn question.
All right. At Toddy Blanche asks, being as you're from an historically red state,
get it right.
How would you suggest handling people online or in person who claim Bernie can't win because he's not electable in red states? I would say he got Joe Rogan. If Joe Rogan is smart enough to recognize that Bernie Sanders is a cool, normal person and he wants to vote for him because of that, you can too.
Yeah.
Also, the South may be a lot of fucked up things, but they have a higher sense of class consciousness and class identity than I think a lot of people in the Northeast would have, or especially on the West Coast.
Well, or that they realize, like, just because we don't have unions, just because we don't have unions, and just because we don't organize as well under labor, doesn't mean that we don't understand those.
I mean, we have such like big labor identity politics, though, of blue collar versus white collar,
working hard and busting your ass to make a living, and yeah, absolutely. I think another factor of that is, just why red states are red states and why they fucking suck. I mean, like historically too, the absolute rat fuck that was Reconstruction. Or rather, the failure of Reconstruction, leading then into, just a couple hundred years of just really bad, like, race and, kind of less, later class discrimination. Like,
Skeevies Dave's original controversy was his belief in reparations, and it got real awkward with some of the scene partners. But,
his ideas of reparations are mostly cum based. So I mean, it's his heart's in the right place.
40 gallons in a mule.
Oh no. Yeah, his heart is in the right place. His cock is everywhere. Anyway, as you said earlier, the fucking Joe Rogan example is a great example, because I think a reason that, some places are red and there's low voter engagement, in addition to, historical fuckery, is, people don't give a shit. They don't expect, especially the other side of the two-party system, the Democrats, to do anything for them, and by and large, they're very right in thinking that. So when you can get the disengaged, I don't really think about politics type person, to, get on board, fucking there you go. I mean, that's a win right there.
That's what Trump did. That's what
Trump did, because what Trump did was, he came on with a bunch of braggadocio and celebrity bullshit. He was a recognized name and, fooled enough people basically into saying, hey, we're going to make things better. And
he literally just focus grouped himself into office. That's all you do. You just figure out the issues that the people that don't really vote are gonna. Yeah,
well, because that's the thing. That's why he stood out above regular Republicans, because regular Republicans are like rah abortion, and the Muslims are coming to teach the Quran in our schools, which like 90% of fucking
Trump
people don't care about that.
More.
Yeah, exactly. Trump did that as well. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Trump also played on a ton of fucking, like just absolute, ape shit crazy conspiracy shit that the right wing loves. But what he also did was kind of like, hey, I'm an outsider, I'm somebody who's not one of your typical politicians. And despite being a billionaire who's definitely not an outsider, people fucking, bought into it. So.
Yep. All right. Next one, Bo.
Yeah. At ContraTabby asks via voicemail, how do y'all feel about the XFL player?
Real quick.
Yeah.
You tried to ask via voicemail. The voicemail was, let's just say, not the best audio quality. And so I'm glad you sent a follow-up through Twitter. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Not everybody has the super schmancy $30 microphone that I got, and somehow. Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, I'm saying recording here on the podcast. I somehow just jiggered this into working halfway decently. So anyway, at ContraTabby via voicemail asks, how do y'all feel about the XFL players not being unionized? Do we need to get Scabby the Rat on the field? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
athletes are workers.
Nobody has said this before, so I'm glad you brought it up. But yes, we do.
That's actually going to be one of the things that we talk about on the Thursday sports live stream. Be sure and tune in 8 p.m. Central Time on YouTube.
Also unionize the MLB minor leagues.
That'll be the trade-off. You'll be allowed to keep your precious MLB minor leagues if you let them unionize, you fucker. So that will be that. We'll be diving more into that again on Thursday on YouTube. But long story short, professional athletes are workers. They deserve to be unionized. And the fact that the XFL is essentially putting a block on that should be a sign about midway through the season. Just go ahead and stop operations once everyone's starting to get the feel for it and really put the pressure on Vince McMahon. Let's do this shit.
Yeah.
I believe in y'all.
I mean, he's Vince McMahon. Like, he loves to act hard, but I mean, come on, you can fucking... I mean, you know, you're big guys. You're football players. Fucking swirly him. I don't know.
Call him a nerd.
Yeah, call him a
Will be
nerd.
great.
Throw him in a locker. Fucking go for it. All right. Who's to take the next one?
It's me. At J Lazyboy asks, what's it like to know that we live in a world where Pete has any type of following?
It sucks.
Yeah,
Like-
it's the fucking worst.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm also very curious to see, because again, this will be coming out the day of the New Hampshire primary. Maybe by the end of the week, we'll have the results from New Hampshire, and we can actually tell whether or not he actually has any type of real following, or if maybe Iowa was a giant PR publicity stunt to try and get him some bullshit MSNBC, CNN, and eventual Fox News job that then he can run as Tucker Carlson's running mate in 2032. But you know, either way.
I mean, like, that is rancidly plausible. Like,
You can totally picture him being like, you know what? I recognize the fact that my lifestyle was a sin. It actually is a phase, and it is a choice. I had my come to Jesus moment.
He's just enough people already like praise the troops for all the good stuff that they do and rock blue line stickers. Like, Pete is actually not even the worst example of that. He's
Oh my
just
God,
the
the thin
one...
blue line rainbow flag.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh, that's been done. That's
already
definitely been done. Yeah.
There's already one. So I hate to
It's like
break it
that
to
fucking feel good thing about the trans cop a while ago who like just I think like just got treated like total dog shit by her precinct. Like, I mean, like, surprise, surprise. Hey, you know, the fascists you work with, you know, are fascists across the board.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Pete Buttigieg is the softest version of the world that we live in. Like, the fact that he has a following should be unsurprising. He's like an upright member of society.
I mean, it's like
he's
what
a
you
white
said. He's the
gay
most
male.
market tested.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Like,
he is what they roll out at the you know, at the IGN annual festival and be like, what, this will appeal to the youths.
Yeah, he is the anthem of of fucking politicians.
Jesus. Yeah.
For those of you
so-
who follow
I
that
have
game.
hopes for a living.
Ugh.
All right.
God.
All right. Before that gets stuck in my head, let's
Yeah.
go on to the next question.
All
Where
right,
Jones
read it
Cat,
away.
we're at Jones Cat Kings asks. I think we chose one of the three questions.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, bro, we love you again. Honestly, the sports section of the Dolphin Garage community coming out and representing. I appreciate this, fellas.
Hell yeah.
But we can only get to one this time. We have the other questions stockpiled. Okay, and so
Bring him on the
We're
sports
top
show.
of the queue.
Yeah.
We're hoarding them
Yeah,
like
yeah.
little rats, preparing for the great nuclear winter.
Prepared for
Mayor
the fucking
Squeak.
caucus. Yeah.
That's right.
Hell yeah. The question that we are going to roll with today is, what song would be the new national anthem for the socialist states of America?
damn
Flamingo.
Not mountain goats, whatever it is.
It's Flamingo. Flamingo's not by the fucking mountain goats. It's Caro Caro
No, I know.
Bonito.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't care.
Also, this
Much
year
like my
by the Mountain
identity.
Goats. No, this year by the Mountain Goats, a song that has the line, I'm gonna kill all the judges, I'm gonna bribe the officials, or it's gonna take you people years to recover from all the damage. Fucking, that is the
Okay.
song right there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, here's my issue with that. All right, I want you to imagine that song blaring as we drone strike a Middle Eastern country.
Also, sorry, that's Up the Wolves, not, that's a different song.
Yeah, see, that song can be used for nefarious purposes.
Yeah,
I think that the a national anthem, just something without any words, just fucking no one needs to care. The idea of a state is inherently already quickly becoming outdated. So what the fuck? Just find something made by, I don't know, like the most milquetoast, non-problematic person you possibly can.
Yeah,
And just be
actually,
like,
okay.
yeah, sure,
so,
it's fine.
so a fucking anthem for like, you know, like your local like socialist organization that, you know, you've built into a society, you know, maybe on like the scale of like a city or like, you know, a county or something. That would slap. A national anthem for the United States, you know, tinted slightly red, maybe like the United Social Democracy of America, it would be Mumford and Sons. Like,
oh my God, you're absolutely right. It would just be appealing to so many people. And like the people who hate it would be like, yeah, it fucking sucks, but like
it's
you
the best
only
we can
hear it
do.
at like at sporting events. It could be a lot worse, you know.
Yeah.
It could be Philip Phillips.
My song choice, and Rob will probably actually hate me for this, is either "Do Do Do Do" by Blackpink or "Kill This Love."
So it doesn't have to be an American thing.
Nope.
All right, I like that. That just means that we need to wage war on South Korea, make it officially the 52nd state. I like your imperialist nature, Zach.
The 53rd, right
up.
behind Puerto Rico. And
No, we still don't actually include Puerto Rico. It's a very problematic system.
No, yeah, what we do, what this fucking country would do is just skip slot 51 just to spite the country that we've been just eternally like doing the worst job of colonialism sucks, don't get me wrong. We have fucked it up in a very specifically bad way.
All right, so if it needs to be an American song, I don't know. I'm just gonna scroll through SoundCloud through like the new section until I find something.
Bad and bougie. Fine, fuck it. Press send.
God. Okay.
All right. At Galactic Granny asks, "Fuck, marry, kill Bowser, Mewtwo, Samus."
Huh.
All right.
Oh no, actually
okay.
this is easy.
that's-
Fuck Bowser, kill Mewtwo, marry Samus.
Yeah. Fuck Bowser. Kill Mewtwo. Marry Samus.
No. All right, okay. You guys are fools.
Hear me out. Or fuck
Gross.
it. Yeah, go off. Yeah.
All right. You marry Mewtwo. Mewtwo has all the powers of the world. That's something that you want with that level of commitment. All right. I mean, just, you know, imagine all of the good Mewtwo could do for the larger communist cause. He already is basically like Magneto, but like kind of more
Pokemon.
slimy. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So like we got that factor going on. Plus he's a clone, so you know he has those feelings of inadequacy. So even if you treat him halfway decent, he'll never leave you. So
Oh, well, that's okay.
we're talking about preferences here, okay? Bowser, you fucking kill him. You put that shell right there above the fireplace. That is a reminder to Mewtwo that you have killed and you might again if, you know, he acts up. Then Samus, that's the one obviously you fuck. But you keep the suit on the entire time because then you're like, whoa, I didn't know you were a girl at the end of it all.
Oh, that's king shit. Okay, actually, yeah, no, you raise a good point. But I'm gonna. Okay. Similar reasons, marry Bowser. I mean, he seems like a very dedicated lover.
Literal king shit, I understand.
Literal king shit, yeah. And, you know, like, marrying Samus, like, yeah, like, you know, you might get along well and, you know, be a very compatible couple. But, I mean, you know, she's a bounty hunter. Like, she's away on business all the time. It gets lonely.
That's
Ah,
my
that's very
ideal.
true.
Away on business as a bounty hunter is like the ideal.
The ideal wife, you're a stay-at-home gamer.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of slaps, actually. I don't know.
All right,
no,
that's
like,
fine,
Mewtwo's-
that's fine.
Mewtwo's psychic
Me and
power
my
is not my ideal. Like my mind is the walls of my mind are not strong. I've not worked to strengthen the fortress of my internal dialogue. And
That's why I have the Bowser shell. I keep pointing at it. I'm like, you trying to fuck with my mind? Huh? You look at that? Huh? Is that what you want?
Jesus Christ. Okay.
You're not even my original choice. I wanted Mew. I settled for you.
Also, quick point of order. Like, I'm sure this is a point of discourse in some, you know, godforsaken corner of Twitter. But like, isn't Mewtwo technically an animal?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
What? I mean, so is Bowser, technically.
Pokemon.
Like Bowser's more like a not a dragon, like a
Mewtwo has sentience. He is able to make his own life choices. He would have voting rights if he existed. He is
they're all-
Well,
person-
no, he would
No,
not have
they're
voting
all
rights if he
monsters.
existed because we live in an incredibly corrupt system. But I see your point.
They're all.
He would actually have more voting rights than most people of color in America. That's the real fucked up thing.
Damn. They're all monsters. None of them would have human
You
rights.
hear me,
Why is
Samus?
Samus a monster?
Samus is not a Pokemon.
But that doesn't. What? No, but you said
All right,
Samus
yeah,
is a
that
monster.
sounds good. That sounds good. We're running on a tight schedule, so
I'm
Zach,
going to
read
make the
one.
next fucking 40 minutes of this podcast about how hot Samus is. Anyway, on to the next.
MZ Transreliquat. Reliquit. Really quat. Asks, how do you stave off feeling helpless to face this capitalist BS? What was your first real socialist praxis, and what can we do today in less than an hour to help out the cause?
In this essay, I will.
We have 40 minutes on Samus, but only like 30 seconds on this.
Yeah.
Who wants to take the lead on this one?
I stave off feeling helpless by playing video games. It's a very good coping mechanism because it gives me small amounts of serotonin. Every time I accomplish something or finish a bounty in Destiny 2, on Destiny Tuesdays, it's really creating more skills for myself that can help improve the future for myself and give so I have more options and I have more ability to fight the capitalist BS that we have to put up with, such as my focus is technology. And I work really hard, kind of, sometimes, to improve my skills and knowledge therein in order to improve the system that is in place and hopefully in the future replace the better one. My first real socialist praxis was telling someone I said "Okay, boomer" on Twitter. That was the first real socialist practice I ever did. And today, in less than an hour, you can sign up for and pay dues to the IWW.
Hell yeah, Bo.
So how I stave off feeling helpless in the face of capitalist BS is abusing alcohol. No, that's a terrible answer. Yeah,
also-
I mean, engaging in hobbies like video games or like movies, even as much time we've spent shit talking. The corporate affair that is, much of film these days. Spend time with loved ones, cook together, fucking make art together, just hang out. Like, shit like that's really nice, just to kind of at least temporarily forget about, the world decaying because evil people want more than they could ever possibly consume.
What's that, Bo? Investing in social activities and creating,
it's like that tweet.
Relationships.
Yeah, it's like that tweet that's like, dudes will claim they're socialist but not go to parties. It's Yeah.
I am trying to build a leftist community through podcasting.
Yeah, that's how you
Leave
do
me
it.
alone.
Yeah. As far as my first real socialist praxis, I mean, like, I don't know about first necessarily, but like,
what was your first time like, Bo?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I try to make a habit of like giving to people like anything I can to help out when like when a fucking fundraiser pops up on your thing and it's like, hey, help out like just a person in need, or fucking somebody is stuck on the side of the road begging or something. Like, it's not strictly speaking socialist, and I definitely could be doing more in life if I weren't just exhausted all the time and but like, yeah, little things like that I feel add up and help out when I mean, I might not be doing great, but I have enough cash in my pocket to fucking hand it to somebody who really really needs it. And that's kind of my answer to the third part of that is because I'm sure there are plenty of people who, like, no matter what their situation is, think that they're just getting by or just are barely making it. But, if you do have like a little bit just stashed away and you can spare somebody, fucking $50, like, which, $50 is where it starts to seem like a lot of money. And no matter what you have, that seems like
ask our Patreon.
A big buy. Yeah, exactly. Like that's a big in, like, just on the day-to-day basis. But like $50 to somebody who, has 1,000 in their checking right now is, that's something. But $50 to somebody who has, 0 in their fucking, thing and is going hungry right now, that's a million somethings. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, that kind of thing. Just that's my message to everybody who, if you can, fucking help people out. And fucking, I'm not saying that, I should clarify, don't give that to us. Give that to fucking fundraisers that pop up on,
yes.
on your Facebook feed, like, hey, here's a person in need, or, whatever it happens to be. I'm rambling
Yeah,
at this point.
if you guys have disposable income, of course.
Especially if you are a white cis dude, fucking sell your shoes, asshole.
Just rob your parents to give to us, all right?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, absolutely. Or, steal from work. They've got plenty of fucking money. Like,
yeah, you can help out the cause by giving to other people, but your first real socialist practice could be donating to our Patreon. So
yeah, no, my joke answer to this is that giving money to my own Patreon, or fucking stealing beer from work, which that slaps. But that really doesn't help anybody but myself. So,
all right, Bo, we're gonna switch over to our Discord questions now. What is the first one?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were just steering me away from the fucking question I was rambling about, not like saying, hey, ask this question, asshole. Serotu asks, y'all want a revolution? How does one do such? Where do I as an individual start?
This
Okay,
actually...
real quick. Hold on.
This is a lot.
Stop. Real quick. All right, Serotu, if you're even listening to this goddamn question, after you plagued our Discord, starting up shit and conversations in the questions channel, expecting people to give real responses all of a sudden, claiming that the sports show is bred in circuses. You don't get a goddamn answer. You want a revolution? Go fucking watch Trolls of the Round Table or something.
Trolls of the Round Table slaps, hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Those people have the real responses.
Do we want a revolution? I don't know.
You say you want some revolution.
Real revolution would fucking slap. Like an ideal revolution, totally.
In Minecraft.
No, like a fucking political revolution. Yeah, like, that doesn't necessarily...
yeah.
We're not gonna get clapped for fucking saying... Anyway.
Yeah, a cultural revolution. Like, do I want to be uprooted from my home and have to fight like the like the fighters in the Middle East who are constantly afraid for their lives and having to defend themselves day in and day out, and live in unideal conditions with no support from any of the first world countries that they may or may not have come from. Like, no, I don't want that. That's not ideal. But if we're talking about a political reinvigoration of the people who have not had a political voice for 30, 40, 50, 70 years, you start out by finding organizations like the International Workers of the World who you pay dues to, and they have the resources to create documentation to help teach you how to start that through labor movements. That's how you do it.
Hell yeah. I think that's a good realistic answer.
Also, Kelton, if you hate this person so much, why are we answering their question?
Because we have an obligation to our
Kelton doesn't
community.
have to answer the question.
Yes, words appear on screens and we respond. That's how this works, yes.
Yes. That's what podcasting is.
All right, on to the next.
Jaxel asks, who has the highest leap on the podcast? I'm going to say it's me.
Yeah. Zach has those weird, like, long-ass legs.
Yeah, I've got some killer calves, not going to lie, but, like, they're mainly form over function, so, it doesn't do me a lot of good.
And I am absurdly fat, so it's all fucking torque, baby. No real distance. Okay?
Now, see, strap a fucking rocket to you, you'll keep going for a good 2 or 3 miles.
Oh, yeah.
But, like,
absolutely.
That's all momentum at that point, yeah.
All right, Toby Tugboat asks, what are the major differences between Sanders this election season and Obama circa 2008?
Obama said that he was going to make sure that the banks didn't die. Bernie Sanders wants to burn them to the ground.
That's actually a really succinct fucking, yeah. That's not bad.
Bad.
Honestly, I'm gonna be entirely honest. I don't know a lot about the 2008, or remember rather a lot about the 2008 elections, because I was in 8th grade at that point, and shit. If you thought I'm dumb now, like, goddamn, I was real dumb then. I understand the comparison in terms of, like, there's a lot of promises being made, and that's true. Like, we shouldn't ignore that. So good, I hate to use this word, as I said earlier, insurance against that is, in addition to Sanders being, fucking, chief executive of the United States, fucking get involved locally. Get involved with the campaigns for your fucking congresspeople, for your city officials, like, shit that, like, even if Sanders is totally cockblocked by, a Republican Senate and a Supreme Court full of the absolute worst mummies, like, at least, like, locally you might have, I don't know, bike lanes. There you go.
Well, and that's the difference between Sanders and Obama, is that Obama's running on the ticket of Obama, Sanders running on the ticket of not me, us. Sanders, is supportive of local movements and doesn't necessarily think that his movement ends with him getting elected.
Yeah.
Also, Sanders isn't literally having to fight against the full blown like golden era Clintonite machine. Okay, we know that it's bad now in 2020, but like circa 2008. Okay, I mean, these were like the Michael Jordan Bulls era Clinton staffers, okay? Not like this weird, like, oh yeah, this guy was like the equivalent of a PA assistant on a campaign before, and now he's worked his way up the ranks. So, I mean, like, he was having to tackle the ideas of, like, where he was born, and a lot of the attacks, as personal as we know that they are against Sanders, there were larger existential points that were being levied against him, and those aren't really coming to the table now, which gives Sanders a floor to then talk about the real-world issues and the pragmatic material conditions, which I think he's taking full advantage of this election cycle.
Well, and my answer is also not very nice to Obama, because I don't think Obama was perfect. But, the difference also, like Kelton was saying, between Sanders and Obama is that Obama was black. And America is racist.
Put a lot of stank on that B there, Zach.
America is racist. Like Sanders already has a lot of protection from a lot of the main things. What does he have to fight now? He has to fight being called a communist head on. Like, oh no.
And ironically enough, an anti-Semite.
Yeah. Obama had to fight being black and being called a Muslim and people saying that he wasn't born in America. Like, there's two different levels of what these campaigns are facing as well. So there's a lot of major differences, but
might be
like
me misremembering things from back then. I mean, because again, I was in fucking middle school, but like shit. I mean, I feel like those ideas specifically, like like birtherism and fucking just Obama is a secret. He's gonna install a caliphate in the United States, yada yada, all that bullshit. Like, I feel that was given a lot less credence than a lot of just like not even Sanders specific, but just like bullshit recently. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I feel like I don't know. Maybe like I said, I'm probably just misremembering and fucking full of shit, but. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I was given a lot less credence by, like, it wasn't treated as good faith by broader media, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it was also 12 years ago, so I mean that
yeah,
was
lots
pretty far in
changed.
the
Yeah,
past. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do a lot of good to focus on the past. So that brings us to our next.
Yeah,
question.
That was pre-Gamergate, and Gamergate changed everything, as we all. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, Shmoo asks, why did the left die after FDR? All right, so full stop.
Austerity.
Hold on, the
Austerity.
left didn't die after FDR. All right, like FDR did a lot of good social programs. He also put the Japanese Americans in internment camps here. So let's put some quotes around left about what we're actually talking about. All right, he was implementing the ideas of a capitalist welfare state with enough of a social safety net to treat people like people, which was pretty great.
Which I mean, I would go for also, but also still not great. The Japanese people in camps thing is not great.
Yeah. I mean,
really
that
sucks.
should be like the white privilege that I have, as I'm like, all right, let's hand wave that glaring human rights violation and talk about the other aspects of FDR and why he's a good leftist. Some of my favorite letters that you can find are farmers at the time writing to FDR, basically calling him out as being a fucking liberal and being like, you aren't doing enough measures to actually make sure that against the banks and these other fucks. So what's happening here? Like, the left didn't die with FDR. As with most things, we became complacent because the minimum threshold got okayed, essentially.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the revolutionary edge didn't really seem to be that prevalent because people were content.
Which also is a valid concern with the Sanders presidency. Like, okay, so like say like, 3 years in, we've got like a solid social democracy in the United States. Like, we're still the United States of America. Like, we're still fucking droning people overseas with no just cause. We're still... Anyway, that's another fucking conversation as well.
Yep. All right, so you both have interesting points. You're both very wrong. I'm going to explain why. The CPUSA actually had always had issues with white chauvinism, if I understand it correctly. I don't read, so if I'm wrong,
the CPUSA had issues with white chauvinism in that they were run by the FBI.
Yeah, and also
Was the FBI even around when FDR was president?
Let me check my APUSH textbook real quick. The only thing I know about the FBI is that they're bad, and that Dale Cooper's the only good one.
Damn. They were formed in 1908, so yes.
Yeah.
The CPUSA was always had issues with white chauvinism. They were never, they for some reason never stayed very Marxist, even though Marx was the greatest political philosopher of our time, and
sick beard.
Any leftist movement needs to be based on Marxist ideals. Also, there was a lot of this stuff where these people would get really big and become like leaders in these communities and organizations, and then they would be assassinated. But specific to the CPUSA during the 1980s, during all of the anti-communist McCarthyism stuff, that was when their party membership started dying a lot. And like Kelton was saying, they also kind of like post-depression, post-war, like into Cold War, and then all of this like Golden Age era bullshit, or post Golden Age era bullshit, but like into like the super industrialization and the 70s and 80s, everything was going fine. Like, it wasn't as important to be leftist to be communist because everything was going fine. We got lazy, we got fat. They started putting real sugar into all of our food, and then they just kept adding more and more. It's the sawdust. It's the sawdust experiment. How much sawdust can you put into a Rice Krispie until they notice? But they're doing it with sugar.
Hey, also, something I've totally fucking has not been in my head this entire time, but like McCarthyism as and the Cold War too. I mean, like,
wow, those were things that happened. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right. Shit. I've kind of been scrolling Twitter this entire conversation. Honestly, this entire
this
episode.
is not Factorio,
yeah,
like
right.
Usual.
No, but like that's the thing too, is that for your average fucking person who's not engaged in like politics or even, God forbid, theory, like, cause gross. They're not going to think any further than, especially pre-internet, they're not going to think any further than, okay, what I see on TV is that the Soviets are fucking pointing nukes at us. They're commies. They're bad. I mean, and that's a gross oversimplification, sure, and overwrites tons of socialist and leftist, fucking activists and, thinkers from the 20th century. But also, we're not talking about fucking thinkers and philosophers. We're talking about your just stupid-ass regular person. And yeah, I mean, they're not going to be particularly inclined to anything remotely red after, being at odds with the Soviet Union. And I mean, that's very, very obviously intentional on the part of, empire, I guess, to really broaden it. But I mean, that's just the part of why it happened, I think. I don't know. Again, I'm not a historian, but yeah.
That has been the history corner of the Psychic Dolphin Garage.
Yeah, God, that is like whatever the like kindergarten version of a AP history class is. That's that.
Yeah, we got 3 more questions here, so time for me to crack my neck real quick and listen up, motherfuckers. Dear Leader Lorca asks, who wins a contested convention? Would the Dems risk it if there was a clear winner, but without a majority of the votes?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Hold on.
Ooh.
Let's not all jump on this question at once here. Okay. I asked
like
it,
this.
so I have to yield the floor. Who would like to go first?
I say Zach.
All right.
I'll take it. Bo, you're such a cock.
Please, I'm begging you. Fuck my question.
Who wins a contested convention? Whoever the DNC fucking wants. Would the Dems risk if there's a clear winner but without a majority of votes? Yes, they would. They did in Iowa. They did last year. They rat fucked Bernie last year. Like, they're not gonna play by
They're the rat fuck
the
party,
rules.
yeah.
They're not gonna play by
But
the
who
rules that they
do you
make.
think is going to win the contested convention?
Oh,
If you had to bet right now, who would win it then? Who are they going to choose?
I mean, I'm assuming right now that Buttigieg makes it. I've already said that Biden is just pushing all of his energy over to
he's
Buttigieg,
sundowning
so
way too hard.
It's
like
it's Buttigieg versus Bernie, and they're just gonna give it to Buttigieg. Like, he's young, Bernie's old. Bernie doesn't understand.
yeah.
And so we're gonna stand behind the the face of the new generation of Democrats. Yeah, Bo. would you
I'm
like to
gonna
answer as well?
answer the question as well. Same. That's my answer. I mean,
Kelton?
yeah, shit. Like, what else is there more to say? You know?
Kelton, do you have anything to add on to?
Well, I mean, I personally think that we'll probably be looking at if there is a contested convention and the DNC wants to, implement someone, and if Buttigieg crashes out as hard as we think, they'll probably just double down, do Bloomberg Klobuchar as like their fucking ticket. Just ride that centrism wave all the way to the fucking top.
Klobuchar hasn't done anything
Goodness.
bad, and Warren's crashed and burned. So yeah, Klobuchar
Exactly.
is there.
Klob gang, let's
Damn.
do this shit. She is basically deciding to take a step back.
Also, post most recent debate, there was some tweet or some meme going around on Twitter that I did not watch the debate because I was I was doing literally anything else. Precisely. But yeah, so there was a meme going around about like Klob having like some weird sexual energy to her, and
That's been the thing for so
hop
long.
in my DMs, please, and explain that to me, dear listener, because I don't fucking get it. I don't see it. So if you are into the just fierce cougar that is Amy Klobuchar, send me a direct message on Twitter. That's @Schnedwab.
It's
Please
just
let me
gonna
know.
be-
Okay, real quick. Skeevy Dave Pictures presents Cougar Char.
Oh God,
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a man of culture. I appreciate a good coug in my time. But like her specifically, like she seems very evil.
Well, yeah, I mean that's because she abuses her staffers and throws staplers at them.
Yeah, not
But
like a fun
she
evil
doesn't-
queen way, like actually just bad.
Yeah,
Anyway,
she is a small business tyrant bad.
Yeah.
So, what's the next question, Bo?
Skull Madness asks favorite film.
I'm just
so
gonna
I'm
go
gonna go ahead.
of
Yeah, see the floor to
2019.
you guys now.
I have to
that's
choose
okay.
a new
I'm
one.
I'm trying to keep fucking order here, and you guys are just barreling into the question.
You guys are just double penetrating into the question without
Yes.
asking me.
All right.
Favorite film is always weird because it's kind of like a top 5 depending on my mood. But I'm gonna save you that like super white guy gives you his top 5 films and is like, how have you not seen it? Type bullshit. My favorite film of 2019 is Parasite. Everyone should go watch it. Parasite will probably win, I don't know, like best international feature film, and then like some sort of writing award, and then that will probably be it. But in my head, it is by far and away one of the most important films that has something that we should all watch, and so that's my kind of in the moment of what to watch in 2019.
Did I watch
if
it
you're gonna
in
go
movie
watch
theaters? I may have lied.
You did.
It may have been the last one that I saw in movie theaters. Yeah, I saw It Chapter 2 in movie
I
theaters.
thought you were talking about the original It. My bad.
No,
Okay,
no.
whatever.
I saw It Chapter 2 in movie theaters. It Chapter 2 Endgame? What other movies did I see? I didn't see Alita Battle Angel. I wanted to watch that one, though.
The question is favorite films. Are you saying Alita Battle Angel, movie you haven't seen? Is
I would have liked it if I had seen it, but I didn't, so I can't say that one, even though I want to say that one. It's because it's the anime film, okay?
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you
that's
go.
right.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Captain Marvel came out in 2019. That was my favorite
oh
film.
my god, no!
What, you get-
Zach
favorite
is
overall?
scrolling Wikipedia right now. Oh, Jesus
How
Christ!
do- it doesn't necessarily have to be Wikipedia. It's definitely
All right, you're
Wikipedia.
Okay,
skipped. You're
Zach's
skipped.
favorite
Yeah,
movie
fucking
is Saving
troll through
Private
your
Ryan.
e-girls
Like,
letterbox
No,
account.
my favorite movie is oh god, what's the name of the fucking film?
13 hours.
No, stop.
The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi is Zach's favorite film. No, fucking Interstellar. That's the
Interstellar,
movie.
I can't think of
It broke all of our brains collectively.
Yeah. Mine the most, I guess. That's why I hang on to it. Or I just haven't had another one break me like that. Kelton regularly weeps and watches films to help him, so he has a lot more moments like that. But that was my real experience.
It is quite a problem.
Cool.
Bo?
My turn. Roll initiative, folks. No, I fucking, so maybe not favorite all time, but like favorite recent movie, is I recently watched, The Greasy Strangler, and that's not so much, yeah, it's really good also, and really just like hard to watch, but also very funny and very like weirdly sincere in a lot of points. Anyway, that kind of made me realize like that's my favorite kind of movie, is just like, this is really upsetting to watch. Let's continue watching it. So, yeah. Greasy Strangler. That's my answer. Fucking, it's on Putlocker.
Sweet.
All right, so last question.
Last question is from Steve. And Steve asks, out of the boys, who's the most likely to be a cannibal? And a follow-up to the cannibal, what's your choice dish of human?
Okay, all right. I bite my fingernails. So I think that kind of makes me the closest to being a cannibal, unless either of y'all have like swallowed cum. So let's
well,
I mean, does that count? Because like that's saying then like eating human flesh is not vegan. Or wait, no, I have this backwards.
Eating vegans is not eating human flesh.
No, eating vegan cum is eating human flesh. I got my wires crossed, boys.
If you eat Mewtwo's cum, is it the cum of a person or an animal?
As much as I hate to put cum aside, I mean, like, you know, I could eat a person who like willed, you know.
That was the worst part of Zach and I watching Heart of the Sea. Was like in the scene where like, I can't believe we're having to eat a human being,
and it's like, no,
but Zach and I were like, yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. You do what you got to do. Yeah, no qualms about it.
They just drew straws instead of picking the fattest one. Like what?
Yeah. That's pretty woke. Pretty woke. Not gonna lie.
Okay, we'll run with all of us are the most likely. We're the most likely to be the cannibal. We were all voted most likely to be cannibal.
It would be a race, I think. Like if we had the proper motivation. Like Zach would beat us all out because he's the most like chef ready, and so he has probably the closest access to the proper utensils to start barbecuing a motherfucker.
Also, I can jump the highest. I can also run the fastest. So it's really between you. Who throws who behind them for me to
slice off a bit of ass cheek. Fucking put some adobo on there, and I mean, like, yeah, like that's basically like the shit like bargain bin quality meat I eat already. So it's fucking there you go.
What's your choice dish of human?
You drown enough fucking adobo with anything, and like fucking boom, God,
crawfish
shit.
stuff.
Okay.
Crawfish
also,
stuff.
by the way, like
stuff.
for everyone screaming at us, yes, the obligatory "haha, eat the rich" joke, right?
Yes,
I think we can cover our bases. With
I
that.
totally thought of that at the beginning of this question. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Honestly, okay. Like, I would take a bite out of like a fucking Jeff Bezos or something as like a symbolic act. I don't think I'd like swallow necessarily, but like just fucking chomp into his neck or something, vampire style.
They do it every year. They do it every year during Passover, where we passed over the houses of the working class and the poor, and we went into the house of the rich. And they have the symbolic piece of a billionaire.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, Jesus Christ. No, yeah, you paint. I don't know. You paint
your door with the symbol of the with the Joker face. You paint the Joker.
Yeah,
face
yeah. There you go. I was trying to think of like something like uniquely like fucking I don't know like. Okay. You paint your door with the way you pronounce fucking LaCroix. Yeah, and if you somehow articulate LaCroix onto your fucking door, we or the Holy Ghost rather comes by and eats you.
I like it. We should do.
All gave some gave all. God.
Well, all right, that's a solid round of questions. We got through this far quicker than I thought. Thank God.
Somehow, some way,
our dumb rambling asses did not milk these for too much time.
Yeah, this is fun. Hopefully, we can do more in-depth questions if we have a shorter list. But we always appreciate the listeners wanting to engage with us and wanting to listen all the way to the end of the episode instead of just stopping at 45 minutes and cutting it off. So if you have made it this far, you're a true comrade. Thank you so
We
much for
appreciate
sticking
the fuck out of
around.
it. Yep.
And we're about to play back What the Fuck is Up with PDG in 2020, our very professional, really good roundup recording. But before then, we'd like to shout out all of our Patreons, especially Scott for contributing to the dialectical tier, and Allie and Lauren, and our new buddy Spencer for contributing to our revamped Devil's Advocate tier.
Just be on the lookout for the YouTube video dropping. Odds are it'll be out by the time you're listening to this. This episode drops like 90 minutes before the actual YouTube video does. So woot woot.
Yeah.
Woot, woot,
Woot woot.
woot.
Is that our new
Indeed.
sign off? Is that what we're fucking going for? Are we going for the goddamn 2005 battle.net hey, I'm kind of winning at pretending to be Goku in
Woot,
Dota
Fine.
thing?
What about this? Hoomst. Is that better?
Shut the fuck up. No, that's terrible.
The Woot Woot clan.
The international wooters of the woot. I don't.
Woot power. Woot power.
Oh, no. Don't start on this. Do not start on this. All right.
Yeah.
Sign us out.
Deuces. Thanks for listening to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage. Check out our link tree in the show notes so you can join our Discord and subreddit and become a part of the community. Find our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. Word of mouth is still the best way for us to bring this weird leftist show to as many people as we possibly can, so if you like the episode, please share it with someone. Anyone. Just one other person at your school or office or parole hearing who you think might like what we do. We trust your judgment. Be sure to join us every week for Destiny Tuesdays on our Discord, the PDLR Fantasy Sports Show Thursdays on our YouTube channel, and Variety Game Night Fridays on Twitch. That just about covers it. All right, we love you. Bye.